So in this video, I'm going to tell you why we took a mast off our sailboat and what we're going to do to the mast while it's off. We had our mast taken off because we need new standing rigging. Standing rigging is the wire. It's not always wire, but it can be wire, it can be metal rods. It's what holds the mast stable in a particular place on the boat. It transfers all of the stress from the mast onto the keel of the boat as well through what they call these things right here. These are called chain plates. And underneath, with mine anyway, and there's different ways to do it, there are rods, metal rods that go all the way down to the framework of the boat. And then wire like this, a lot thicker though, that goes from here up into the mast, and there are multiple locations. It also can be used to rake the mast, which is to bend, not bend, but tilt the mast back a little bit or certain directions. That can help with pointing ability on a sailboat. Our boat doesn't have, I don't think, the ability because it's a really solid mast, but some masts can also be bent on the top a little bit, and that also helps. A lot of racing boats have that, like carbon fiber masts and things like that. So yeah, our mast isn't here right now. It's over there, and I'll show you what's going to be done with it. Well, the boat's 25 years old, and from my records that I could figure out, it's never been done before. And what happens with, I'll show you here because I don't have wires, but these are the wires, probably about the same size. This is not our mast, but these are the wires about the same size that are going to go back on our mast. These look brand new. And what happens over time is you can have rust. Even though something's called stainless steel is not really an accurate terminology. It should be really like less stainless. You still get rust on stainless steel. There's iron in stainless steel, it's still rust. Depending on the grade of stainless steel, you have less rust or more rust. Marine stainless steel is like the least tendency to rust, and they're different grades. But what can happen here is these wires, they get put into these crimping, these pieces right here into this metal, and then they crimp this really tight. And I think they put some type of sealant on or something too. But over time, what will happen is water will leak into these seals and get down into here, and it'll rust inside, and you don't even know it's rusting. So, and they can just fail like that, just pop. There's no way to really inspect it. So that's one reason why they suggest getting the standing rigging, this is called standing rigging, replaced on your boat. I've heard like every 12 to 14 years or so. We're probably way past that, so we've had really good luck. And I'll show you our mast now. So these are just other masts that are being worked on by the rigger. I'm not doing this work myself. I will do things on the boat, but I know my limitations and I know what I don't want to do, what I want to do. So this is our mast right here. As you can see, the rigger has already taken off the old wire and attachment points, because what he'll do is he'll take it, he'll measure it, and he said he sends it to another company and they actually make them for him and send them back to him, and he'll reinstall it. So that's kind of the state of our mast right now. A couple upgrades that I wanted done on this mast, since it's down, and this is the easy time to do it, is there was an old TV antenna up here, like a dish, kind of looked like a flying saucer. I wanted that taken off because that was serving no purpose, because we don't have a TV. So also there was an incandescent light, anchor light. All boats are supposed to have an anchor light on them, so if you're anchoring, you know that it's anchored. So it was a light here, and it's all around white light or clear light, and the bulb failed, and now I want LED, and there's so many more things you can have on. Like now you can have it like if the sun's out, it'll shut off if it's dark, so it has photo sensors on it and things like that. So I had this one installed. It's a hell of a light, and this has a combination of a tri-light, so it has a red and green light on it, so that's your navigation piece. But it also has on the top, it has the all-around anchor light, and it's LED, and I went with Heleva because when I first bought the boat, I put Heleva navigation lights on my bow, and they're rock star. They're rock steady. They're just perfect. They're great. They're really, really bright. So I wanted to go with that product again. Lastly, we had a VHF antenna, which is a VHF is a very high frequency. It's a marine radio, essentially, which all boats don't have to have, but they should have, so they can communicate back and forth. Or if they have distress, they have to call the Coast Guard or whatever. And we had an antenna up here, and it was kind of bent around the big dome out here, so I'm having that replaced. That's so old as well. Also, the wire was corroded. The rigger, the electrician, told me back there. So that wire is going to be, actually it looks like right here, was replaced. So they're going to install a new VHF antenna for me here. That's really the only things I'm going to have done on it. This is just a little visual indicator, really doesn't do anything. This is actually my real wind instrument up here. It tells me the speed of the wind and the direction of the wind. It's really old. I'm pretty sure it's Legacy. I'm not totally sure. I know it's Ray Marine, which is Raytheon, which is pretty old. But I'm just going to leave it for now because the wire looks good and it's working, so I'm not going to play with it. Here you can see, here's the rust I was talking about. This is a piece of the standing rigging. This is actually in the front of the boat. This is called a stay, forestay. Just fore means in front of. And this attaches to the front of the bow of the boat. And this has something called a foil on it. And at the end of this foil, way down the other end, there's like a spindle. We call it a furler. And what you do is you put your head sail, the front sail on that, and then you can wind it up. You've seen probably in our videos before, you just wind it up. And that's what this does. And this attaches to the bow. So I gotta have him take a look at this too. I think it's okay. And this is where the mast actually sits on the deck. There's, to my knowledge, two types of ways they call it stepping a mast. Stepping is putting the mast, how it's secured to the boat. There's deck stepping, which we have, which means that you just place the bottom of the mast right on top of the cabin. We have a compression post, stainless steel post that goes down into the keel, which supports the mast weight. Others, you actually have a hole on the top and you drop the mast through and it goes all the way down. These are all our wires. These are the ropes. They call them halyards and sheets. These are spreaders. I have two spreaders on this mast. It helps it stay up. I have two more lights here, which I'm going to leave alone. I'm just going to replace them with LED lights. So this is called a masthead light. So this light is required when you're powered by a motoring. It's called a masthead light, or oftentimes on sailboats they'll call it a steaming light. And this is, I have this lit when have the engine on. When we shut the engine off, you're supposed to shut it off. I actually keep it on because I can see the sail and people can see me better. You don't have to shut it off, but I think it gives us better visibility, but it's required when we're motoring to have this thing on. And this is just a convenience light. This shines on the deck, so I can see stuff when it's dark, up forward of the mast. This is my radar. Great piece of equipment, because you can see things in the dark. You can see things in the fog. You can see storms approaching. You can see little targets. You can see little kayakers on the water because they probably don't have any lights on their boat. Sometimes they do. So you can see things that you can't see with your eyes at night. This is connected to my chart plotter, which is a screen, so you can actually see what's going on around the boat. I use it for night watches. I actually keep it on all the time because I can just glance at it real quick and I can see if there are any targets around. So it's my second set of eyes, I'd say. It's an old one, but she's still working. So here's an example of a VHF antenna. There's a formula. C is equal to lambda nu, which is C is the speed of light, is equal to the frequency times the wavelength of radiation. So you can, if you know the frequency of a signal, you can figure out the wavelength of the signal just by using the speed of light. And so you can figure out the optimum length of something, because ideally you want to match, if you can, I'm not an electronics person, but you want to match the wavelength of the wave, the radiation, to your actual metal antenna. They do it sometimes this way, but they'll also do it with spirals. They'll like little wires and they'll spiral it, and that'll do kind of the same thing. Or you can do half wavelengths too, like 6 feet, around 6 feet is about the wavelength of the frequency that we're operating under for the VHF, marine VHF radios. But that's really tall, 6 feet, you know. What's that, about here? That's really tall, and you already have like we have a 64-foot and change mast. I should measure this mast while it's out. 64 feet mast. And there are bridges, lots of bridges that are 65 feet, maybe. So when we've gone under them, we've tickled our VHF, like dee 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 dee, as we underneath the mast, underneath the bridge. It's not scary. So if you add, anyway, so if you add another 3 feet to this, you're really limiting what you can go under. Not that we like to go under bridges anyway, but still. So I probably will get a 4 or 3 foot VHF over here, because I can do that half wavelength, and that works, I guess, okay too. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, send it to your boat buddies, and I'll be back at you next time with another video. Take care. Bye. As she zooms out.